privilege and honor to be doing the most important thing in the world, learning Torah. And we're doing the Amud because we want people to be able to understand what they learn, enjoy what they learn, be a part of the share. So please feel free to ask questions. Says the gemorah, Tanu Rabbanon, we're on the medium-sized line. First word. Beshama Oyrim. Beshama say, Mechabdim es abayis, va'achakach neitlim liyadai. You first clear the table, and then you wash your hands. What are you washing your hands for? My machainim. After you eat, before you bench, your hands are dirty. You've eaten oily, salty, greasy, whatever. You wash your hands. So after you first clear the table, then you wash your hands. If you're going to tell me that you should first wash your hands, you're going to ruin the food on the table. So you got all this bread on the table. You wash your hands. Your hands are soaking wet. You drip all over the food, drip over the bread. You're going to ruin the food. We're not talking about tumah tire. We're talking about here. It's going to get wet. It's going to get ruined. So Shim Aval. Now the Bryce is going to continue to explain Beishamai. Aval letilis yadayim Beishamai tchila lo yisvir lehu. Beishamai never likes you to do a netilis yadayim before my time on Mishum Perurin. Why? Because on the table you're going to have crumbs, you're going to have little pieces of bread, and you're going to ruin the bread. Okay? Move on. It says Beisil im sha. Okay, that's Shivs Beishamai. If the guy is clear, the worker, the guy, good morning. If the guy who is helping the shamash, the assistant, if he is a Talmud Chacham, he's knowledgeable. He should remove from the table any bits that have more than a kazayas. Kazayas being 30 grams, a matchbox worth, the small matchboxes, not the new big ones. You leave the little crumbs that have less than 30 grams on the table. Okay? Basil says, you're not allowed to have someone helping you who's amaret, doesn't know the halacha. Your butler has to know what he's doing. You can't hire a butler or a waiter that doesn't know basic halacha. Beishamai says you're allowed to use you're allowed to use a butler that is ignorant. So it's interesting to note that this is one of the few places in Shas that Beishamai is Mekel on Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel says, don't use a Shamash Hamoretz. Beishamai says, no, it's fine. Amar of Yosi Bachanina, Amar of Huna. B'kulei Pirkin Elachak Beis Hillel. In the whole Mishnah, we pass like Beis Hillel, Bar Mahad Elachak Beishamai, except for this case, we pass like Beishamai, we go L'Kula, like Beishamai. Big Chiddush. He says we pass like Beishamai. There was a Baskol we saw yesterday's daf. Baskol came down and said we pass like Beis Hillel, not like Beishamai. Why do you pass here like Beishamai? So Rabbi Aisha Masni Yebcha. Rabbi Aisha says the opinions of the Mishnah are switched. Beis Hillel is Mekel and Beishamai is Machmer. And we pass here also like Beis Hillel. Everyone agrees with Mekel. The question is, who said what? So he says, switch the sheet as we pass like Beis Hillel, not like Beishamai. Okay, says the gemorah, Beishamai, Aimim Ner, Ramazain, Rafuna. Rafuna bar Yehuda, Iklele Bei Rava. He Rafuna went to Rav Yehuda's house, went to Rava's house. Chazil Rava the Barcha B'Sam B'Reisha. He saw when he did Havdalah, the first, like we do nowadays, he first made a bracha on the smell, on the besomim, and then on the eish. And in the Mishnah, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel both say, first ner, first the candle, eish, and then besomim. The question is where the muzzin goes, right? But Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai both agree that you first do ner, you first do the candle, and then you do the smell. So why did Rava do first smell and then the candle? Amalei said to him, Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, pligi. Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai, they don't argue on the light. You first do candle and then you do psalmim. So why are you doing first psalmim? Who are you going with? The Snan, it says in the Mishnah, Beis Shammai, ner, first the candle, then muzzin, then food, then psalmim, then the smell, then you say Havdalah. Beis Hillel says, no, first the candle, then the psalmim, then the muzzin, then Havdalah. But they both say that the first thing you do is the candle. Ani Rava, says Rava. He answered him, Rava Basrei Zu Divrei Reb Meir. Our Mishnah that you just quoted, that's the opinion of Reb Meir. Reb Meir is explaining the machlekes to Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. Aval, but you should know that Reb Yehuda argues with Reb Meir. Reb Yehuda Aimer. They both agree that Mazon at the beginning and then Avdallah. What's a machlekes to Beis Shammai Beis Hillel? He says the machlekes in Beis Shammai Beis Hillel is not the order of the Mazon and Avdallah. The machlekes is between the ner and the besamim. Beis Shammai says you first do the candle, then the besamim. Beis Hillel besamim va'achkach ma'ar. You first do besamim, then you do ma'ar. That's the machlekes. From Rabbi Yochanan, no go am Beis Hillel. Says Rabbi Yochanan, we pass like Beis Hillel, aliba Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore we first do besamim and then we do ner. The Rishonim speak about why you should do first ner, first besamim. We're not going to get into it now; it's a bit complicated. But it's just take a look if you have a chance. Beishamim Shabara. Now there's a machlekes in the Mishnah. Do you say Shabara Ma'oir Ha'esh? He created the light of the fire, or do you say Boirei? He makes Ma'oirei the light. Ma'oirei is like plural of a fire. So Amarava Bara with the word bara, he created. Kule alma lai pligi. No one is in dispute. The bara mashma. Bara is past. He created. With thanking Hashem, he created fire. Ki pligi bebayre. What are we arguing about? What's there a machalekes about between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai? What does the word bayre mean? He creates. Literally, if I say he's a bayre, it means he creates, not he created. Beis Shammai savri bayre da'asid l'mivra. Bayre means he will create, or he does create. Da'asid. Beis Hillel says bayre nami the bar masha. When you say bayre, it also implies he created. He did create past. So that's the machlekes. Does bayre mean past or present? Masav Rav Yosef asks. There's psukim, there's verses, it says Yetzer or bayre chayshech. He created light and he made darkness. Yetzer harim of bayre ruach. Bayre shemaim v'naitain. So you see, bayre shemaim, the pasuk uses the word bayre, and that means past. So you can't argue. How are you going to go ahead and say that bayre implies only future? The verse says bayre, he made, and he uses this lashon that implies future. So how could you argue with that? Elam Rav Yosef bebara bayre kuli amalei pligi. The bara mashma says Rav Yosef. They both agree. Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai both agree that bayre means past. All right, bayre means past because you got a pasuk. You can't argue with the pasuk. I mean, it could be. You could say no one says this. I'm just thinking out loud there. That even though bayre means past, we got a pasuk, but people think it means future. People think it means present, bayre, not bara, bayre. It means present, future. And people want to make a mistake. So therefore, says Beis Shammai, to say bara. In bara, everyone agrees bara means he created. So why should you get involved in something that people get confused? So take a look at Taisus. But bara kula amam loy pligi. Bottom Taisus. Says Taisus, Since everyone agrees the bara means past, why do we say bayre? Use the better lashon. Everyone knows and agrees that bara is past. We'd rather use the lashon of the pasuk. So you're right. One bara sounds better. Oh, we'd rather say bayre because that's we're saying what the pasuk says. So says Reb Chaim, if everyone agrees with bara, so what's the argument about? Ki pligi b'ma'ar. The machlekes in Beis Shammai Basil is the word ma'ar. U'ma'irei. The Beis Shammai savri chada nahira ike benura. Beis Shammai hold that flame. Excuse me. The Beis Shammai savri. Thank you. The Beis Shammai savri chada nahira ike benura. Beis Shammai hold a candle. There's one flame. So you say ma'ar, the light. There's one light. You're looking at a candle. You're praising Hashem for the light. Ubesil savri tuvad nahira ike benura. There's many different lights in a flame. Rashi explains, there's a red flame, there's a white flame, there's a green flame. So you're thanking Hashem for all the different colors of the flame. Okay. So that's how you say, Beis Shammai says, Bari Ma'or, the light, and Beis Hillel says, Ma'irei, there's a lot of different light. That's how Rashi learns. The Ravid says a different pshat. The Ravid says here, the pshat is that fire has many different uses. You could cook, you could start your car with it, you can use it for light. And that's what Hashem. Ma'irei, there's a lot of different uses of this light. Tanya Nami Hachi, the Bible says a similar thing. There's a lot of different lights in light. So interestingly, what happened to the machlokes of bara or bayre? They still argue with bara or bayre. So some want to say that because they're arguing that whether you say bara or bayre depends on whether you say ma'ar or ma'ire. If you say ma'ire, you say bara ma'ire. Bara ma'ar. If you say ma'ire, you say bayre ma'ire. In other words, whether you say bara bayre is dependent on this machlekes, whether you say ma'ar or ma'ire. The Gra says, what's the machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel? I think it's the Gra. He says, the question is, are you thanking Hashem for the light that Hashem created originally? Bara, he created the ma'ar. When Hashem made fire, he made a fire, an original flame. Mm-hmm. You thank Hashem for that bara ma'ar, he created a flame. Or we thank Hashem for the light you see in front of you. She's bayre, it's more of a present tense, and ma'irei, there's many different colors over here. That's the machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Are you thanking Hashem for that he originally created the fire, or that now we are enjoying this flame? And a side note, the Ritva says when we say there's three types of brachas. There's a bracha that's called the brichas mitzvahs. He's doing a mitzvah, you make a bracha al natilas lulav. Then there's a bracha, you're about to eat something called brichas hanan, and you eat something, you have to say a bracha. And then there's something called brichas shevach. You're just praising Hashem, right? Baruch Hashem mekadesh Shabbos. You're praising Hashem, even if you're not physically enjoying anything. We're just praising Hashem. So, is the bracha when you say Beir Ma'ira Eish, you're thanking Hashem for the fire? Is it brichas hananin or is it brichas shevach or brichas mitzvahs? It's not a brichas mitzvah. That's out, right? You're not doing a mitzvah by looking at the candle. Doesn't say it's a mitzvah. So he says we're not. It's not a brichas hananin. We're not thanking Hashem for something we're enjoying. It's not like, oh, thank you, I'm enjoying the light now, I have to thank Hashem. It's a brichas hashevach. It could be that's a machlekes Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. Is it brichas hashevach or is it brichas hananin? If it's praising Hashem, we're enjoying it, it's Beir Ma'ir, we're enjoying the light. If it's brichas hashevach, we're praising Hashem. He made 5,786 years ago, he made light. He says, Tachlis, the Ritva says nowadays it's is a birchas hashevach, it's not a birchas hananin. Okay. Says the Gemorah, ein mevarchen, b'ishlem mishum delay shavos, ele b'sam in my time elai, The Mishnah said you can't make a bracha on a candle or psamim shal akum. So the Gemara says, why not? So Bishlam and Narishim Leishavas. The candle you can't make a bracha on because Leishavas. The candle didn't rest. We'll see what that means. The Gemara is going to get into a deep dive what we're talking about over here. The candle didn't rest. El b'samim, my time of light. Why can't you make a bracha on the b'samim of akum? The smell. Amar Yehuda Amar Rav Hacha b'mesibes goy maskinan. Here we're talking about a group of people get together, they make a party. When people get together and have a party, if they're not Orthodox Jews, so it's Avodah Zarah. They're always thanking, they're always praising some Avodah Zarah, some idol worship in there, and therefore you shouldn't use it. At the end of the Mishnah says you can't make a bracha on Avodah Zarah, right? That means that the first half of the Mishnah, we're not talking about where they're idol worshipping, and you still can't make a bracha. So what's going on over here? Amar Reb Chanina Mesura says Reb Chanina Matam Kamar. It's all one thing. Matam Kamar. Matam Matam. Why can't you make a bracha on the ner of Psamim of Akum? Shal goyim bnei shestam mesibes goyim la'avodah zarah. Because mistama they're getting together for avodah zarah. That's why you can't use it. We've got nothing against them, but just if they used it for avodah zarah, you can't go ahead and use it for mitzvah. Tanu Rabbanon. Or sheshavas mevarchin olav. V'shalei shavas ein mevarchin olav. So if this candle rested, you can make a bracha on it. We're going to see what this means. V'shalei shavas, if it didn't rest, the candle didn't rest, the candle violated the Sabbath. Ein mevarchin olav, you cannot make a bracha on it. My shavas or my shavas. What are we talking about here? What does it mean if it rested, it didn't rest? Turn the page, one nun gimel on the top of the page. If you're going to tell me it didn't rest, even from doing mutar halacha. In other words, vatanya. If you're going to tell me that there was a candle, it was burning on Shabbos, even though it was mutar to be burning, vatanya, it isn't a brisa. A woman's giving birth, she needs light. They need to see what they're doing. Or someone's sick, he needs a candle. If someone's sick, you're allowed to light the candle for him. You need it. You've got to give the guy medication, whatever it is. You're allowed to light a candle. So there's no Issa over here. And if there's no Issa, you can use that candle for Havdalah. My Shavas, so what does it mean, Shavas? Shavas machas malechas avera. It didn't do any avera. The candle didn't do any avera. So, Tananami Hachi, we have a price. It's the same thing. Ashashi, Shaisa, the leches, kol hayoyim kula, l'moitz Shabbos mevachan alea. If you have a flame, a candle, a light, to burn the whole Shabbos, till Motzei Shabbos mevachan alea, you're allowed to make a brach on it. That's called Or Shavas. That's not called a candle that Issa. So, the question is, the Rishonim say, they ask, I don't understand. If you lit the Shabbos candle on Shabbos for a chayla, for a chaya, woman giving birth, that's mutter. Why? Even though you lit on Shabbos, you make a fire on Shabbos, so you can use it. So of course, if you lit the thing on Thursday afternoon and it burned for 48 hours, of course you can use it. It's like it's Pasha. What's the chiddush over here? No one did any Issa. There's no chashash Issa. I don't know. Good kasha, no? Mm-hmm. Maybe, unless you want to say that if you lit the candle on Shabbos for a chayla, it's a mitzvah. Not just you didn't do an avera. You used it for a mitzvah, so now you can do a mitzvah with it. You lit a candle before Shabbos. You didn't do it for a mitzvah. You lit a candle on Thursday. You don't like it for a mitzvah. Hey, you did it for a mitzvah. I don't know. I didn't see an answer. But interestingly, someone want to bring a riot from this gemorah You see throughout Shas, you have these machlekes and these chakiras, briska chakiras. It's a chefta, it's a gavra. So you want to say from here, you see that when a guy lights a candle on Shabbos, it's a chefta? Is it the candle is asa? Or is it that you did something else where the candle's fine? Maybe you bring away from it. The candle, if you lit it be'isra on Shabbos, the candle becomes a chefta shalisa. Something like, you did the issa, you're chayav, but the problem is that the candle's asa. Now, it's a question you have to ask. Is it like chefta gavra? Maybe bring away from it. It's a chefta thing. You see that the candle's asa. Okay. Says the gemorah. Tanabana. Nachri shehidlik misrav yisal shehidlik menachri mevachin alav. What happens? You have a nachri. He lit from a yid, or a yid lit from a nachri. You're allowed to make the bracha. Nachri menachri ein mevachin alav. If a nachri lit from another nachri, then you can't make a bracha. The gemorah asks, "Ma'aseh nachri menachri d'lo mishum d'lo shavas." Why can't, if a nachri lights from a nachri, in other words, one nachri lit the candle on Shabbos, then another nachri came and took from that candle and lit from him after Shabbos, right? So why can't you use that? Lo Shabbos. This guy lit on Shabbos. Yochi saw a nachri nami. So if a yid lit the candle from a nachri, you also shouldn't be able to. Lo Shabbos. The nachri lit the candle on Shabbos. Now they ask of you, I don't understand what's going on over here. The Nachri lights a candle. He's allowed to light a candle. He's not also to light a candle. There's no Isra on the Nachri to light a candle on Shabbos. He's allowed to. He's not Jewish. He's got no Isra to light Shabbos. He's got no Isra Shabbos. What's the problem over here? So what are you going to tell me? If you're going to tell me Hach Isura Azalei V'achrinahu, that when interesting musag. The flame, you're going to tell me the flame that was originally here is gone. This is already a new flame. In other words, every second, there's a new flame being created. It's not like you have the same flame. Every second, it's a new flame. So if he lit it before, and now you take it from him, it's a new flame, right? Now in the Yid's hand, you've got this new flame. Right? If that's what you're going to tell me, that can't be. Because it says in the Brisa, now there's a principle. When you're carrying on Shabbos, you don't have to carry. You don't have to take from one place, pick it up at one place, put it down in another place, right? So what's it then? It says in the Brisa, if you take a flame from one house, you move it to another house, you're chayiv. It means there's no candle, there's no glass. You just take the flame. I don't know how you do this. There's a flame in your hand. You take it from one rishus to another rishus. You chayiv. Why? Says gemorah, am I chayiv? Why are you chayiv? If every second this flame is rejuvenating as a new flame, you picked up flame A, you put down flame B. You didn't put down the same flame. This is already a different fire. Why would you be chayiv? So back to the original text. We're talking when you have a flame, you've got the new flame and the old flame. It's not just like you have only a new flame. You're right, there's a new flame there. But you've got also the old flame. When you're making a bracha on this candle, at the Sefer the Torah, you're making the bracha on the new part of it. So the Gemara asks, if you're making a bracha on the new part, so in that case, when one nachri gives another nachri, you should be able to make the bracha. You're making a bracha on the new part, not on the part that the first nachri lit on Shabbos. Be'issa or beheta. By the way, they say that since for a yid it's asa, so for a goy, if he does it, it's gzeira, you shouldn't do it. Even though he was not even Nissa, right? It's not like the candle did Nissa. So Gemara asks, you're right. Nachri menachri should be muta, because it's a new flame, and you make your bracha on the new part. But there, when it's nachri menachri, you can make a gzeira on one nachri, and the amud rishon on the first flame, the first second. Amud rishon means like as soon as you light it, right? It's not budding anything new. So that's for sure asa. So nachri menachri, we make a gzeira because of the first one. Tanu Rabbanon, with the third white line. The guy leaves the town. V'ra'ar, and you see light. Imreiv nachri ein muvarach. If most of the people there are non-Jewish, you can make a bracha. You can't make a bracha because it was lo Shabbos. Imreiv Yisrael muvarach. But if most of the people there are Jewish, you can make a bracha because we can assume that they kept Shabbos and this wasn't lit on Shabbos. The implication is if it's 50-50, you can make a bracha. The second half says, if you got Raiv, if it's 50-50, you can't make a bracha. So the implication for the first half is when it's 50-50 you can, second half is the implication for 50-50 you can't. So what's the din when it's 50-50? Really, if it's 50-50, you can't make a bracha. And it says this lotion of Rav Nachem because the Sefer says Rav Yisrael. That's the din when it's 50-50. Tan Rabbanan. Guys walking outside the town. You see a child. Tinik doesn't mean a baby, it means a young child. A 6-year-old kid with a fire. Can you make a bracha? By the kacher check, if he's a yid, you can make a bracha. If he's not a yid, you can't make a bracha. Who cares if he's a tinik? Even if he's an adult, it should be the same din. Here we're talking about, you see this kid right after Shkiyas Chama. It's near Shkiyas Chama. Some say it's Benish Moshes, it's not carved Shkiyas Chama, it's almost dark, it's not mamish dark yet. So God since you're not allowed to light the candle then, if he's an adult, he knows you can't light the candle then. So who is it? If he's an adult, he's got a flame, he's got to be an achri. But if it's a baby, a child, a 6-year-old, if he's a kid, you'll say, you know what, he's a kid, and he thought he made a mistake, he thought it's shkia, you can already have the candle, so he took this candle. Another case, he's going outside, he sees a flame. If he sees a huge, big flame, big fire, you can make a bracha. If it's a small flame, why? Because if it's a big flame, it means that they made this flame for light, right? They're not trying to cook with it, they want to see. We got 2 prices. One says, if it's a big light, you can. The other says, if it's a big light, you can't. It depends if it's the beginning of where it starts to burn, at the end. That at the end, Rashi explains that it makes these big flames, and that's for sure for light. But at the beginning, they're using it maybe to cook. All right, it's already 9. Okay, we're going to end over here because we are out of time. Be'ez Hashem will continue tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.